guys, and thank you for tuning into this high-level review of Meghan Markle's new Netflix series, With Love, Meghan. I recently got done watching all 8 episodes of this show, and honestly, I tuned in just to see what the hype was about. I know she received a lot of hate comments under the Netflix trailer, and I just wanted to watch, So all the hate aside from Meghan Markle, this show, out of 5 stars, I would have to rate it a 3 out of 5, guys, surprisingly. And let me tell you, my intent with watching, I was just going to watch an episode or 2 just to see whether Meghan Markle was a domestic queen or is she a hostilla, And what I found was that she was primarily a hostilla, in my opinion, but she has some domestic queen qualities about her too. So let's start off with the good about this show. So some of the things that were excellent about this show was the pacing. The pacing was spot on. Each show is only roughly about 35 minutes long, and it's a very easy watch. Again, I was only planning on watching 1 episode, but I just went through 8 episodes really, really quickly. And the soundtrack was dynamite. Like, I wish I could have like a separate playlist just to listen to the songs that were on this soundtrack. And thirdly, some of the stuff was just so not realistic for most of us moms to do, especially because Meghan Markle, she's a toddler mom. I think her kids are 3 and 5. So a lot of the things she was doing, and I'll get into that a little bit more, was just out of touch for most of us. So it kind of challenged me, and it actually inspired me a little bit. Like, hey, I need to step my game up just a wee bit. I'm not trying to take it to Megan Sussex levels, but I need to step up my game a little bit in a domestic realm. Okay. Also, what I liked about the show were the aesthetics. The aesthetics were spot on. She did not film this series entirely in her own home. It looks like they just rented a house just for her to primarily use the kitchen. But I believe some scenes were in her home, in her backyard primarily. But those were the main things that I liked about the show. Just a very easy, delightful watch. Now, let's get into the things that I did not like about this show. Going back to whether she's a domestic queen or a hostilla. That first episode, she has a friend named Daniel, and they've been friends for about 15 years now. She knew him from her time as an actress on Suits, and he was her makeup artist. And he comes over, and he's an overnight guest. And again, the things she is doing are just a little bit overbearing for me. She's just doing too much. Like, for instance, she makes him a bath salts from scratch. She mixes up some Epsom salt, a little bit of lavender, a few other essential oils, and she makes him special tea bags for his bath as well. And she also makes him popcorn from scratch, straight from the corn on the cob. And she repackages some peanut butter pretzels, which was very strange to me. Just give him the freaking bag of pretzels, So I'm looking at it as the POV of a guest in her home. We've all stayed at people's house overnight. Well, maybe we all have. I'm not sure. But what I hate when I stay over somebody's house is when they're overbearing. And that's exactly what she was to me. People need to see exactly the ingredients that are in items. For instance, the bath salts. Okay, what's in this, Meghan? I don't want to have to call you at 11 p.m. when it's time for me to take a bath shower and ask you what's in here, Why would you take the peanut butter pretzels out of the packaging just to put it in another package? She put it in a little cutesy little Demore package. Just leave it in a freaking packaging so I can see what ingredients are in these peanut butter pretzels, right? Just let me know what's in there. You don't have to do too much when I come through. Just be subtle, because less is more. Less is more. So she was definitely given overbearing on that sense. And also the itinerary that she had lined up for him. They were doing things she had plans for him. She had plans for him to make a cake. They did candle making with fresh beeswax. They literally had bees in the backyard and using beeswax to make candles. And then the candles took 3 to 4 hours to dry, and they needed to wait. And he was like, it takes 3 to 4 hours to dry. And she was like, yeah, well, what else do you have to do? And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? What else does he have to do? He's your guest, But I don't know. She just had his whole itinerary lined up for him with a bunch of domestic things that he didn't seem that interested in to me. But again, just looking at it from the guest point of view, when you go to somebody's house, you don't want your whole itinerary planned. But I know that this is just for a show. It's all scripted. He knew well before he came over what her intentions were. But she gave me those kind of vibes. You all know those kind of vibes. Like she's the type of mom, when your kid has a function at school, she's gonna stay up all night baking fresh cookies while I'm gonna bring in my store-bought cookies from like Hagen's or something. You know what I'm saying? So she just gave me those vibes, head of the PTO vibes, nosy lady vibes, like a very nosy, judgmental lady, right? So I don't know, could be wrong, but that was just episode 1 when Daniel came over. But the sequencing of the show was all wrong, because if I would have gave up on the first episode, I would have prejudged her. I would have prejudged her a little bit too much, been too harsh on her, because the first episode, I'm like, girl, come on, this is so not realistic. But after I got to maybe the 3rd or 4th episodes, things started easing up and she started to be more likable and a little bit more realistic to me. Some other things that I was waiting to see too, honestly, I wanted to see more of her black side come out. She's biracial, her mama black, but I didn't see a lot of that side of her come out. I didn't see the culture at all. I mean, one episode towards the end, maybe it was episode 7 or 8, I believe, she made a recipe, that was Creole inspired. And she talked about her mom somewhat there. But I definitely want to see more of her black side come out. I mean, she did reference Beyonce's Cozy song. And she did reference Khaleesi's saying something like, my bacon brings all the boys to the yard. Something she said like that. So, but I just wanted to see more of her black side come out. And not only that, I wanted to see more of her personality in general just shine through. And I'm not sure if it was her decision or production's decision. But the lack of eye contact, I wanted to see her talk to the camera more. Like, talk to the camera, girl. Like, a lot of times she was looking down, looking away, and to me that presented like a lack of confidence, especially with everybody just thinking that she's a liar and they don't like her. I just feel like more eye contact, more talking directly to the people would have just made her a little bit more likable. She would have seemed more confident that way. And the last thing I didn't like, I feel like I'm going too hard on this girl. And I know it's already a whole hate train against Meg, so I'm definitely not trying to add to that negativity. But the last thing that I didn't like about this show was the flower petals on and in everything. She sprinkles flowers on everything. Like, for instance, when she was hosting guests, she sprinkled, she had flowers inside of their ice cube. That way, when the ice cube melts, you see flowers in your drink. She had flowers on top of cookies, flowers and cakes. It was just flower sprinkles everywhere. But it made sense now because I'm looking now. Well, I was looking earlier at her website just launched, her As Ever. So she has a lifestyle brand that's launching with like essential items. And she has like the flower sprinkles there. So even though I hated the flower sprinkles in the series, I'm like, dang, should I buy some flower sprinkles now? That seems really fancy and really rich. But again, if I was the guest and she was hosting and she would give me that, I'd be like, you doing too much, because I don't want flowers in my drink. I don't know where those flowers came from. I don't know how you clean them. I do not want flowers in my drink. Just give me my drink, girl. But that was the last thing that I didn't like. But again, just overall, I rate the series like a 3/5. Fun to watch. I hope her brand does really well. Hopefully the hate train against her ends. I mean, a lot of the hate is old. I mean, isn't it again old, the hate on Meghan Markle? Meghan Sussex, sorry. She did correct her friend Brandi, like, oh, I'm not Meghan Markle anymore, I'm Meghan Sussex. But nonetheless, y'all, thank you for watching this review. If you made it this far in the video, please go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you do like watching both TV show reviews and also movie reviews. See you on the next video. Peace.